that they're not willing to give us what we have to have. So I'm not thrilled with that. We'll see what happens. We're talking later. We'll have some additional talks today. But no, I'm not happy with the way they're doing it.
Are you concerned at all about President Bill Clinton being deposed and that sets precedent for you and your family?
I don't like seeing him deposed, but, you know, they certainly went after me a lot more than that. I don't like seeing him. Look, I like him, and I don't like seeing him deposed.
Howard Lutnick. What is your reaction to that?
Well, Howard would go in and do whatever he has to say. He's a very innocent guy. He's doing a good job.
Mr. President, you said coming boys from Iraq now into Iraq. What's your message to the Iraqi leadership?
Well, I get along very well with the Iraqi leadership. Thank you.
Governor Britain posted on social media that you're planning to... The 2026 midterm elections. In fact, he says the plan is already underway. How do you respond to Governor Pritzker?
Well, he's got to focus on crime in his state. The crime in his state's doing very badly. If we went and took care of it, what we would do, just like Washington, D.C., we have no crime. Memphis, it's down 82%. Louisiana, you take a look at Louisiana, what he should really do is focus on crime in his state, because there's too much of it.
Have you made the final decision of Iran? Have you made the final decision of Iran? Have you made the final decision?
No, I haven't.
Do you believe that Iran is going to nuclear weapons?
If negotiation breaks down with Iran.
Well, we haven't made a final decision. We're not exactly happy with the way they're negotiated. They cannot have nuclear weapons, and we're not thrilled with the way they're negotiating, so we'll see how it all works. The Cuban government is talking with us, and they're in a big deal of trouble, as you know. They have no money, they have no anything right now, but they're talking with us. And maybe we'll have a friendly takeover of Cuba. We could very well end up having a friendly takeover of Cuba. After many, many years, we've had a lot of years of dealing with Cuba. I've been hearing about Cuba since I'm a little boy, but they're in big trouble, and we could very well, something good, I think very positive for the people that were expelled or worse from Cuba that live here. You know, we have people living here that want to go back to Cuba, and they're very happy with what's going
on. That, my friends, is absolutely bombastic, huge news. The fact that Cuba may want to submit to the United States and have the United States take over their government. That is, I mean, some of you guys who are as old as me remember the Cuban Missile Crisis and everything that happened. And now here we are in 2026, and this Western Hemispheres thing is just going crazy. And now he's going to take over Cuba. I can already see libnut heads exploding, absolutely exploding. They'll try to minimize it, but that is massively huge news. Literally 90 miles off the coast of Key West. It's right there. And it would be, you talk about being prosperous. If you want to go see old movies on how Cuba used to be, you will be amazed at that. And I didn't know today, guys, that today was not just a speech, it's actually a rally. Nobody told me we were going to break out into a full-fledged rally, but here we are. I'm looking at the event stage, and someone's speaking right now. The crowd is full in Texas. You just saw President Trump get off the plane. He deplaned in Texas and is heading over to the venue. I have so much stuff to show you. I'm not sure what I'm going to be able to do right now because of everything he's doing and what's going on. So we're going to be here for a while because once this, speech is done, then I'm going to have to basically cut and do the show, or maybe, I don't know, what we shall see for sure what's going to be happening. Glad you guys can make it on a Friday afternoon. SV is in town. We're going to head down to the local casino and play some poker tonight. I'm hoping I can bankrupt him, take his money. I hope he doesn't take mine, but we shall have some fun. So first thing I want to do is talk to you about one of today's sponsors, and then we're going to get right into the rally because this thing is going. It's absolutely going. All right, so if you bought some gold and silver, I hope you didn't freak out. I hope you didn't freak out when things seemed like they were going to be bad. And I told you, hold. If you go back in the shows, I said, hold. Don't freak out. And then sure enough, here we are today. $94.35 an ounce. It came right back. That's what the people who were talking to me, no insider trading, but they were like, they can't keep doing what they've been doing. So if you bought some silver or some gold, understand right now they've been trying everything they can do to suppress the market. The days of excessive money printing, overvalued markets, and global unrest are finally catching up to the elite. They can't keep this dog in the cage much longer. Now is the time to do your research. Keep your eyes open. Look at trends. You're going to see what's happening right now. Get some information from my friends at Lear Capital. Experts are still predicting $6,000 gold and $150 to $200 silver. We're going to have Kevin DeMerit on again next Wednesday. The guy was dead on. He's Barry. It's going to dip, and then it's going to pop again. So everything you're seeing is being driven by geopolitical uncertainty, inflation concerns, and a perceived weakening of the U.S. dollar. Is it time for you to buy some gold or silver? That's a decision you'll have to make personally. Nobody can do that for you. But if you call Lear Capital, they'll help you by getting the most accurate information, most timely information you need to make an informed decision. Call the best in the business and the company that Robin and I personally deal with for our gold and silver. That's why I'm talking to you about them. And I'm watching the ticker. It just went up again. Great. Call Lear Capital. It's a free call. There's no obligation to purchase, just education and information on protecting and growing your wealth with gold and silver. I'm sure there are many of you that have called and maybe haven't purchased as of yet for whatever your personal reason is. They'll even walk you through shifting some of your money sitting in a retirement account over to physical gold and silver. It's pretty simple. It's easy to do. I've been extremely satisfied with Lear's knowledge, service, and prices. I urge you to call today and learn more at 800-601-5430, 800-601-5430, or go to learberry.com to learn more. All right, so just to let you know what's going to be happening here, this is a full-on rally. Let me just give you a shot of what I'm looking at on the monitors here. This just isn't a speech. It's a rally out there. They are packed in for this big event talking about energy dominance. It's one of those things that the left will never talk about. They don't like the word dominance. Anything having to do with being the best is antithetical to the Democrat Party. So the fact that they're touting energy dominance today is a huge deal for America, not so good for the libtards. Not so good whatsoever. It means people can, enjoy some prosperity. It's amazing to me. I put up one of those YouTube polls that you can put up for people during a show. And the poll I put up 4 items. And it's what as of right now, 1,400 people have voted in it. And I said, what is the most important midterm issue for you? And I'm sitting here, I'm blown away. Number one, beyond anything, 94% of you have said it's the Save America Act and voter ID. 94%, 5% said gas and food prices. 1% said mortgage and interest rates. Literally zero of you give a hoot about the Epstein accountability. Yeah, you're my kind of people. You are definitely my kind of people. All right, we're going to roll the intro and then come back with some information as to what's happening at this event. And why didn't that just go when I hit that? Is this one?
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Electricity prices up, closing 30, 40 gigawatts of coal power. President Trump, on the other hand, kept 17 gigawatts of coal power plants open last year that would have been closed under the Democrats. So, yes, there was inertia for those rising electricity prices, but that inertia is over. Indiana just announced a lowering of electricity rates. Georgia and Alabama announced a 3-year freeze. So with our efforts, we're getting electricity production up, new jobs coming here, and ending these ruinous President Biden electricity price rises. But yeah, when you start in a deep hole, you got to dig awful hard. You got to fill it awful hard to get positive. But I think we're on a tremendous trajectory.
I had the chance when we were in Washington, D.C. to interview Chris Wright. Unfortunately, looking at the footage, the camera may have malfunctioned. I'm going to go to camera 2. Hopefully we got the audio. That guy was one of the most impressive people we met in Washington, D.C. He is an absolute firebrand. He's one of those people that I was telling you about is just going to make this country better. He's got so many ideas. Like President Trump has said at many rallies, I don't know how I got this guy. He was the one who was talking about the nuclear plant in the back of a I think C-17, the big airplanes, and that they had to fly it out of Los Angeles or California because California won't allow them to deploy it in California. So a lot of what you're going to hear today is the brain trust of people like Chris Wright, and how he's pushing his energy. And he had so much to say. I was hoping to include it today, but I got to figure out how to edit and maybe have to do an audio only thing. But he is the guy that's driving this train in terms of energy right now. He and Doug Bynum, yeah, he was there as well, and they were just simply amazing. So I'm going to show you some stuff about what they plan on doing with energy.
Many Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community, and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed. So I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years.
That's part of the State of the Union speech. Not a lot of people focused on. A lot of people completely missed that. And he's talking about what's going to be happening over the next couple of years. So all these big tech companies that are racing to the front with AI need these huge data centers. These data centers are what fuel the AI, powers the AI. And of course, that's something that the left hates. They hate the fact that we're looking to command, i.e. dominate yet another space. We are trying to dominate AI. And I've been talking to you guys about AI probably for a year now. And I hope we've gotten to the point where most of you, hopefully most of you, understand at this point that yes, there are some things that could be bad with it, but the good is overwhelmingly more positive for America. Yes, there are going to be some people whose jobs are displaced. You can see some of the videos people are putting out. We may not have Hollywood movies in 2 or 3 years. I don't care. That's fine. Make the writers good stories, but then AI can do that too. So we don't know where that's going to go. But everything, medical, it'll be able to look at your x-ray and tell you what's wrong with your knee, if it's like me, and what you need to do to get your knee better. It might be able to diagnose cancer earlier. It can take the entire, medical library and go through it real quick and come out, and it's going to be learned. And I know some people say, oh yeah, but it's woke. And well, you know what? It's a baby. Think about this. When you had your little baby, that baby was literally a sponge looking at you. And whatever you told, it always amazes me. I'm like, I'm going to sound stupid here. The stupid part of me one day said, how did that little kid learn how to speak Spanish? And luckily I said that to myself, and I didn't speak it out loud because I'd have been quite embarrassed, because I'm like, man, I'm an adult. I can't speak Spanish. Look at that 6-year-old kid. And there's another one. He's speaking French. How in the hell? Then you realize that's because of what they've been fed. They hear it. They learn it. They understand it. Well, think about the computer that way, but it doesn't have to go through 10, 20 years to become an adult. So right now it is sucking in a lot of stuff that we don't want it to, recognize. Same thing as your kid. Your kid goes to high school or grammar school, and there's always the bad kids. And the bad kids are looking to influence your kid. And hopefully you as a parent or grandparent or aunt or uncle, no, you can't do that. Because otherwise your child, your grandchild is going to learn the bad stuff. It's going to be able to find porn. It's going to be able to find DEI until you train it not to. So I'm not afraid of it. I look at it as a tool that is continually being refined over and over, and I'm seeing what America can do. See, the problem I think a lot of people aren't understanding is everything that AI can do is not being explained to people. I learned that in Washington. I'm like, why don't you tell people that? Well, we got to take our time with it. No, because the other side is telling you crap. If you knew that the strides that AI was making in medicine and pharmaceuticals, in your food, you would really sit back and go, we definitely need this. And on the other side of the coin, if you knew, and you are a certain position, if you are in, finance, business, processing, things that it easily can take over, you might want to start differentiating yourself. Like now, it's coming. It's not an if, it's a when. Just saw this morning that a bunch of more people just got laid off. It's coming, people. You can't look away from it. And so part of that, being able to do all of that, needs power, lots of power.
I think we need to slow this thing down. One way to do it would probably be a moratorium on data centers.
Wow.
See, the left answer to everything the libtards want to do is just stop it. Just nope, we can't do it. Why? Because they can't control it. Everyone talks about what would happen if Kamala is president. What would happen if the Democrats take control? And I think a lot of things people miss is what happens if they take control of AI. They want it paused right now. They want you to turn off the switch because it's learning too much of stuff they don't want you to know. We're not in charge of the programming. Trump and his people are going to make sure this thing is really good for business and people are going to prosper and make money. We can't have that. So they want to shut it down. Man, I'm telling you guys, if you have not watched the show, Person of Interest, I almost think we should do a Rumble series where each night we do an episode. It would then take us through 3 years. Because when you watch that show and you realize you're watching a show from 2013, and I was watching another episode last night and I went, oh my God, how did they know that this was going to be the thing? In last night's episode, it's 45 years old, but when I watched it last night, I couldn't believe it. If you haven't watched, if you're worried about AI, you should go tune in and watch Person of Interest. It simply will blow you away. Let's learn some more.
A moratorium on data centers. How does that lead to the U.S. being the #1 player in AI across the world, beating China, Secretary?
So Bernie has it wrong on both points. Number one, no, you don't want China to lead in AI, not just to lose the economic benefits in the United States, but AI is critical for national security. The country that leads in AI is going to be the leading power in the coming century. That country should be the United States. We don't want to export that to China. And he's wrong on electricity prices. This is just selling fear. It's the states like New England and California that have reduced their production of electricity. They have the skyrocketing prices. The states that are embracing growth and new generation, those are the states that can lower their electricity prices.
See, if you listen closely to what he just said, and he and I had a good discussion about it, he's telling you what the Democrats want. They want China. They want the communists to control. They want these other countries to not be tariffed. They want to destroy America. They've already cut their deals. They don't want you to have cheaper gas, cheaper electricity. Every single day as we find out more and more and more about fraud and everything that these people have been doing for who knows how long is about taking your money. And so many people have been conditioned and have accepted the fact that maybe, we shouldn't be looking at prosperity. Maybe prosperity isn't something we should, seek. Maybe it's bad to. Well, what if that prosperity is your own prosperity? Sit back for a second and think over, 5, 10, 20 years, how much you've paid in taxes. And imagine what you would be doing, what your life would be right now if you only paid 50% of that money in taxes. going to cause you to go, whoa, I'd have a big cushion. Well, what happens if you had to pay nothing in taxes over the past 20 years? President Trump is doing something. Hold on. Let's go ahead and take this, and I'll come back to that. I'm not really sure what this is, but it looks interesting. Hold on.
Which we helped you a lot with.
Exactly.
The new bridge just opened. It's beautiful. That's a great bridge, huh? It's all white, very unusual, white. It's red at night, but only for Republicans here. Pretty much, yeah. No, not yet. Well, I don't want to discuss that. Is everybody having a good time? Do you know how big this is? Millions and millions of barrels of oil are pouring right in here. It's a great thing. No, the relationship with Venezuela has been amazing.
Do you have a message for Iran?
Well, they should make a deal, but they don't want to quite go far enough, and it's too bad. Look, we've been playing with them for 47 years, and that's a long time. They've been blowing the legs off our people, blowing the face off our people, the arms. They've been knocking out ships one by one. But every month there's something else, so you can't put up with it too long. We're not happy with the negotiation. They just don't want to. They don't want to say the key words. We're not going to have a nuclear weapon. They have to say we're not going to have a nuclear weapon, and they just can't quite get there. They want to enrich a little bit. You don't have to enrich when you have that much oil. So I'm not happy with the negotiation. I say no enrichment. Not 20%, 30%. They always want 20%, 30%. They want it for civilian, for civil. I think it's uncivil. So I'm not happy with it, no.
Sir, how close are you to making a decision on strikes? How close are you to making a decision on strikes?
I'd rather not tell you. You would have had the greatest scoop in history, right? Well, they're going. I mean, we're negotiating right now, but they're not getting to the right answer. And we're not going to see people. We're not going to see what's happened for 47 years keep going. 47 years we've been doing this with them. The Obama deal was the worst deal. Nobody ever saw a deal so stupid. Right now, if you did the Obama deal, if that held, if I didn't terminate it, Iran would have a nuclear weapon, and it would be a whole different ballgame.
Are you concerned that striking Iran...
That Obama deal was one of the worst, one of the dumbest deals I've ever seen. Yep. First of all, it was very short term. It would long be over. You know that. Would be not. I terminated it, but if I didn't, it would be over by now anyway. But the Obama deal, what he did was one of the dumber deals. I've seen a lot of dumb deals. That would be one of the dumber deals.
Are you concerned that striking Iran might raise oil prices, which can affect your economic agenda?
I'm not concerned. No. I'm concerned about people's lives. I'm concerned about long-term health for this country. That's what I'm concerned about.
The Vice President
Yeah, he did.
what did he say?
I can't tell you that.
Is there any progress?
I can't tell you that. I can't tell you. But I do like. Come here. Do you want to see something nice? Come here. Look at that. Right out of Venezuela. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Please follow Hannah.
You okay?
All right, thank you, press. Let's go, press. Thank you, press.
Watch out. Thank you, press.
How much you want to bet he said, go turn off that doggone music? I'm trying to talk here. I'm pretty sure that was him who said, go turn off that music. So, of course, I'm going to have to cut it because I'm sure YouTube will be looking for that sound of, who is that? Sinead O'Connor. So anyway, so he shows you the Venezuelan ship. Let's continue as about the energy.
Let's talk now about an important visit here in Corpus Christi. U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright is in town today, meeting with energy workers and discussing the future of Texas energy.
Secretary Wright spoke with energy workers and industry leaders across the region, highlighting opportunities to boost safety, encourage innovation, and support local energy infrastructure. For more on what all happened today and some of the highlights from this visit, we go live now to our Natalia Osuna, who was there for it. Natalia?
Hey, Mike. Hey, Leslie. Well, I'm here today at Cheniere Energy here in Gregory this afternoon, where U.S. Secretary Chris Wright is joining me here live, and we're just going to chat with him. I mean, Secretary Wright, tell me a little bit about what brings you to Corpus Christi today, to Gregory here to Cheniere.
President Trump got elected to unleash American energy dominance, grow jobs in the United States, lower prices in the United States, and allow us to export energy abroad. Energy dominance is right here, right behind us. Those giant tankers right there, those are taking American natural gas over to England and France, our allies in Europe. This facility is investing and expanding, which is a win for America, jobs and lower prices, and a win for our allies abroad. So Corpus Christi encapsulates the dream of President Trump of American energy dominance.
Right, and tell me a little bit more about, our energy industry and how, of course, it's a big, it plays a big role in our local workforce, creating jobs, creating, job stability. So tell me about that and what you all hope to expand, with these expansions coming here at Cheniere as well.
You bet. So the Corpus has been a leader in the energy industry and energy-intensive industries for a reason. A good business community and, most importantly, hard-working, skilled people that make all these great things happen. So you see businesses like Cheniere expanding here because they believe in this community they'll find more and more people, more engineers, more tradespeople, more accountants, more people that can staff and build these facilities and operate them. You expand business in a business-friendly place. Nobody's building huge things like this in California. They come to Texas to do that. And then they get...
And that's so true. When I was talking to him, I was like, what are we going to do about the blue states? Because part of what you have to think is if they're being so anti-energy, so anti-business, and people are fleeing these states, and then you turn off the money for the, the grants and the newcomers, what exactly are they going to exist on? And I really thought if people don't want to go to these high tax states, if they're not going to do anything about crime, if New York turns into what Mandami is doing, maybe Mandami is smartening up or something, but I don't have any idea what California is going to do as more and more companies, big companies, move out of California and don't want to deal with this stuff. Never mind the amount of people who are becoming refugees and leaving the entire state. Nobody wants to pay 50% of their income to a state. Nobody wants to pay $7 or $8 for a gallon of gas. They are literally taxing themselves into oblivion when people have choices. See, the problem was they had it so well because Biden administration was doing everything they possibly could to make it hard everywhere. That's why they hated DeSantis. And it's so weird because I've said many times, I'm not sure if it's like we live in a bubble or whatever, but I want to ask SV, maybe I'll take a video of SV tonight, and we're going to go someplace, and I'm going to say, you live up north. You're in a hotel. Right now, I don't know if he's in here or if he's by the pool or something, because it's like 86 degrees down here. And I'm going, is it really that much different? And if it is that much different, you realize it's just because of the governor of the legislature in a state like here and in Texas. I don't know how the Democrats can compete. Every time I hear people about, we're going to lose, Epstein ain't going away. Let me just look at the chart one more time. The chart as of right now, 1% of 2,400 people, 1% have said Epstein accountability is the biggest item in the midterms. And I've been finding that. You want to know how funny I found it? When we were in Washington, D.C., nobody was talking about it. Not in the restaurants, not in the Capitol. It was like it just didn't matter. And then you look on CNN, you look on these other stations, and it's just constant. And I'm looking at Fox right now, and they're talking about, what's her name? Jasmine Crockett. Nobody cares. It's like they program things that people don't care about. If 93% of you believe, like I do, that the Voter ID and Save America Act is what's most important in America right now, They should be spending as much time on that as they did for the, Savannah Guthrie thing. That should be 24/7. That's all. If you look at this poll, and if it's a microcosm of the country, at least on the right, and I was a programmer, I'm looking at this and go, why am I talking about anything else? I'm going to take that information. I'm going to look at this and go, now I know what people here in the Fanfare family want to talk about. I understand what's most important to you is getting this thing passed. It's very simple but I'm looking at Jasmine Crockett and a couple of people talking about turning Chinese. I understand they have 24/7 programming that they have to put on, but that's flipping insane. Insane. Let's go back to Chris.
Find the right communities with the right workers. So I think Corpus has a proud history, and I think it's got a bright future, particularly under President Trump's leadership, where we've gotten rid of the nonsense trying to squelch American energy. We want to unleash it to the benefit of Americans and Texans and Corpus Christi residents.
I'm in Corpus Christi, Texas, and behind me is President Trump's energy dominance agenda. These giant tankers are bringing American natural gas via LNG, driving jobs and prosperity in the United States and security for our allies abroad. There's a buzz in the air here. President Trump will arrive here in Corpus Christi for a fantastic rally to celebrate the hard-working Americans in Corpus Christi that build the big steel, the heavy infrastructure that enables American energy dominance.
So over and over, people we talked with at the gas station told us prices are too high, but they're still starting to feel better. Bethany Irwin, mother of 4, says that they have 2 teenagers who drive, meaning her and her husband. That's 4 gas tanks to fill up each week.
Compared to what it was a couple years ago, I definitely feel like we're on the upside of things, of course.
That's it right there. Compared to where we were, keep saying the word, contrast. Compared to what we were with Biden, that needs to be talked about more and more and more. It's not an instantaneous fix. We voted the guy in. He's been there a year. He's trying to undo all of the crap that happened. And well, I am feeling it is a bit different. And as people get their tax returns and start seeing, that's a little bit different. It's better than it was before. It's still high, but it's better than it was before. The contrast, the comparison is what's going to differentiate what the Trump administration has done and will continue to do. And the Democrats are trying to do everything else to slow that down, to make it seem like there's things that are more important. But you can look at your own poll.
There's still paycheck to paychecks there, and but I do feel like there's an upturn of things, so.
You feel a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely.
But in a few hours.
And that little bit better is what more and more Americans need to feel. And I think that's what I know from talking to these people over the last couple of days up in Washington, this is the focus, to let you know, not just tell you things are getting better, letting you see. Go to your gas pump, go to your grocery store, see things getting better. When you have to lose weight and you've gained weight, you say, oh, I got to go on a diet. You don't look at the scale the next day and go, man, nothing's happening. No, you don't look at the scale 2 weeks later and go, nothing's happening. I remember when I got done playing football and then the doctor said, go ahead, you got to lose weight. He goes, I don't want you to even think of the word diet. What do you mean? Diets don't even use the word. What is it? Behavioral modification. You need to make these changes, i.e. get rid of the blueberry muffins and just become a part of your life. This is how you're going to live. But I want the blueberry muffin. Nope, that's not you anymore. And then the thing he told me the most was, forget the scale. You're a big guy. What I want you to do is watch your clothes. When things start fitting differently and you tighten your belt and your pants keep falling down, that's the stuff you're going to have to see and realize, oh, things are changing. When you get on the airport and you go in a seat on an airplane, are you able to really buckle the belt without it feeling tight? And like, yeah, I can do this. And that's what I think people are seeing right now. They're able to buckle the belt where before it was really tight because we had too much bills and we didn't have enough income. And now the bill, oh, yeah, we can buckle the belt. And now it's going to get even easier to continue buckling the belt. Something President Trump SV sent me as we're waiting here, which was very interesting. I don't even know what he's alluding to here. It made me sit back. If any of you guys are lawyers, perhaps you can, excuse me, chime in. Look at this. The recent decision of the United States Supreme Court concerning tariffs could allow for hundreds of billions of dollars to be returned to countries and companies that have been ripping off the United States of America. Notice ripping off. I'm going to come back to that. Have been ripping off the United States of America for many years. And now, according to the decision, we could actually continue to do so at an even increased level. I am sure that the Supreme Court did not have this in mind. Remember the quotes. It doesn't make sense that the countries and companies that took advantage of us for decades, receiving billions and billions of dollars that they should not have been allowed to receive, would now be entitled to an undeserved windfall, the likes of which the world has never seen before, as a result of this highly disappointing, to say the least, ruling. Is a rehearing or re-adjudication of this case possible? President Donald J. Trump. Is a rehearing or re-adjudication possible? You know, to President Trump and his team, they're not putting stuff out that they haven't already researched. He just let us know game ain't over. Don't know if he'll win it, but he just said something, and I'm not a lawyer, but I'm wondering, because he quoted ripping off, if they can prove that these countries have been stealing from us, i.e. ripping us off, would that change the way the judgment went in regards to the tariffs? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm definitely not a tariff lawyer, but there's something going on because I've never even heard of a rehearing or, quote, a re-adjudication. His words, rehearing or re-adjudication of the case. I don't even know what that means. It means something. It means something to somebody. He wouldn't have put it out there. I didn't know you could have a rehearing or re-adjudication of a Supreme Court decision. That's completely news to me. I thought once the Supreme Court said that, gavelled it in, this is our decision, that there was no room for you to move anymore. Perhaps I was wrong. Perhaps I don't know enough. Perhaps none of us knows the answer to that. That would be interesting. He also pointed, again, almost like...
Well, thank you very much, everybody. And I'm thrilled to be back in the great state of Texas, which we won over and over again. Thank you very much. The gleaming shores of the Gulf of America. See, that's one of the things we do, you know, if we did so much, that's like one of the, I don't want to call it a throw-in because it's very important, but it's like a little throw-in. I said, you know, we ought to just sort of change the name. We have 92% of the frontage. But they were there first. They've been here 100 years longer. Gulf of Mexico, 100 years longer. Now it's the Gulf of America because we have 92%. I wouldn't say Mexico was thrilled, but they were fine. And I'm delighted to be here at this national treasure, one of the largest energy export hubs anywhere in the world, The port of Corpus Christi, we had a lot to do with it. That bridge, we had so much. What a nice bridge. Ooh, I like that color. What a nice bridge. And we dredged nice and deeply. I guess they said 54 feet or something. It's about as deep as you can go. I think we could go a few feet deeper, and then you could, you want to go a little bit deeper? What the hell? What the hell? It's only money. With the men and women here today, we're unleashing America's potential, strengthening our security, increasing our prosperity. We had the most successful country anywhere in the world. A year and a half ago, we had a dead country. Our country was dead. You know it better than anybody. And cementing America's status as the #1 energy superpower by far anywhere on earth. And I want to thank Venezuela because our relationship is a very good one. We're a very, very good one. We're having a very good relationship. That ship is from Venezuela. For 4 long years before I took office, the Biden administration, Sleepy Joe Biden, one of the worst presidents in history, not one of the, I have to think the worst. How could you can you get worse? Somebody said, please don't be political today. Okay, but he's the worst president we've ever had. And its allies in Congress waged a radical left war on American oil and natural gas like you've never seen before. They were killing our country and killing your area right here. In fact, they say if I wanted, I could work. If I ran for the mayor of Corpus Christi, would I win? I think so. What the hell? I looked at your job stats. You have done very well with Trump. They killed the Keystone XL pipeline. This is the Biden group. Here's the good news, in all fairness. He had no idea what the hell was happening. But it was his administration of horrible people, horrible, radical left people. No, he used the auto pen very well. There's never been anybody in history that used an auto pen like that. Almost conclusively. He piled crippling regulations on producers and refiners, imposed natural gas export ban, and slashed new leases for drilling by 95%. That's Biden. Under their Green New scam, one of the greatest scams in history, gasoline reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states, fueling the worst inflation in the history of our country. We had the worst inflation in the history of our country. You've heard me say this before, the fake news sitting back there. They say Trump exaggerated. It wasn't in history. They say it was 48 years. Okay, we'll take that too. In a way, 48 years sounds even worse if you want to know the truth. But they tell me it's 48 years. It's not. I think it's the history of our country. But whether it's 48 years or the history of our country, they're both pretty bad. Do we agree? But all of that changed. My first day back in office, it all changed. Our country started coming back like never before. On day one, I declared a national energy emergency. I ended the Biden export ban, and I told our great Texas energy workers to very simply drill, baby, drill. Since my inauguration, U.S. oil production is now up by 600,000 barrels a day. Natural gas production is at an all-time record high by far. And today, right here in Corpus Christi, the price of gasoline is down to just less than, actually now, $2.30. I just left Iowa 2 weeks ago. $1.99, and then I passed another one. $1.85. It's happening. It's happening. So we're witnessing a historic American energy boom like we've never seen, and this port is right at the center of the action. So who lives here or this area? Who lives? A lot of happy people here. It's nice to be loved. It's nice to be loved. Thank you. Thank you. In my first term, I approved vital federal funding to deepen the channel and fully modernize the port of Corpus Christi. Since that crucial investment, companies have flocked here, creating tens of thousands of jobs and generating billions and billions of dollars in revenue for your community. Joe Biden came in and tried to cut off the port funding, immediately tried to cut it off. What we did, we had a tremendously successful first term, and he came in and tried to take away what we had. But today, the dock workers, we stopped them. And today, the dock workers, energy workers, and great people of Texas once again really have a president that loves our country, a president that fights for our country, and a president who's got your back. Nationwide exports of liquefied natural gas are up 37%. Think of that. And the past year, the highest level in American history, and going up a lot. Crude oil exports are up by hundreds of thousands of barrels a day. Venezuela, think of it, 80 million so far. We just started. 80 million barrels of fuel. Think 80 million barrels of oil. Think of what that means. Think of a stadium with 80,000 people. Now say 80 million. That's what we've taken, and it's great for Venezuela, and it's great for us. It's great for us, great for Venezuela. And a lot of it, like that, a lot of it comes right here. And with our new friend and partner, Venezuela, we're going to do a lot of other things. We're going to be doing a lot. We're having a great relationship with their government. Has anybody ever witnessed anything so beautiful, so decisive, and so popular with the people of Venezuela? It was very popular. In fact, 360,000 barrels of Venezuelan crude are right now sitting in the tanker on my left. It's a nice one. So where the hell does that one come from? For the benefit of both our nations, we're going to refine their oil right here in America and right here in Texas, and then export it to all over the world. We're going to keep some for ourselves. We're going to give some to them, and they're going to make more money than they've ever made before. We'll help build their country again, which was a disaster. And we're going to build it up, and we're going to benefit also, and that's the way it's supposed to be, right? It's going to be great. One person who has witnessed our energy turnaround firsthand is Jesse Robinson. Jesse? Come on up here, Jesse. He began his career at this port working on the front lines of railroad operations and has risen to become one of the port's key leaders. I can see that, by the way. You all know him, helping to drive the American energy surge. This is a surge like nobody's ever seen. Jesse, come on up and say a few words.
Wow. Good afternoon, everyone. You know, I've been on this cargo dock probably 1,000 times, but I never could have imagined standing at this podium at this very moment with all of you as we honor together what an irrefutably historical moment this is. In my role as Director of Asset Management here at the port, I see firsthand every day the valuable contributions by President Trump. I see the millions of dollars in federal funds invested in infrastructure that helps us serve our customers so they can then turn and serve the communities around the world. At this port, I have the honor of leading roughly 75 employees and contractors, most of which are here today. And I can tell you with utmost sincerity that every one of us takes great pride in our jobs, supporting this global gateway. We work hard and with humility. This waterway means something to us. It represents the economic opportunity for tens of thousands of families throughout this region. I want to thank my family for supporting my commitment to this port. I want to thank my team for their heart and grit. And I want to thank President Trump for recognizing their tenacity and value. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Jesse. Great guy and great family and hard worker. All hard workers. I'm a hard worker. We're all hard workers. Slashing energy costs. Hey, by the way, how did you like the State of the Union the other night? That was good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was fun. Did you see these people on my right, the way they just sat there? Some of them. How about Omar screaming? screaming like a lunatic. You looked at her bulging eyes. She's crazy. Get her the hell out of here. The Omar and her friend, and her little friend sitting next to her. Slashing energy costs is among the most important actions we can take to bring down prices for American consumers, because when you cut the cost of energy, you just cut the cost of energy. Everything follows. Look, you're in an industry, a business, whatever you want to call it, a profession in many cases. Everything follows energy. Now, AI, they build these big plants. They say, how do you make your money? Information. Somehow I like oil better. I'm sorry. I think oil. If I had my choice, I have to stick with oil. In 12 months, we've driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it's been down to 1 point inflation, 1.7%. Nobody thought that. So we went from the highest inflation ever to low inflation. Everything took place. I've been here 1 year. Think of it, 1 year, a little bit more than 1 year now. Time flies, time flies. Maybe we do one more term. Should we do one more term? Do one more term. Well, we're entitled to it because they cheated like hell in the second one. So we would actually be entitled to it. But think of it, the price of eggs is down 60%, the cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than it has been in years. And even beef is right now on the way down. It's coming down fast. Prices of almost everything is down. And we inherited a mess 1 year ago, a mess. And they came up with the word affordability, affordability. And I said, what are they talking about? They're the ones that caused it. They're cons, they're liars, not good. Other than that, we want to have unity. Let's have unity. To have unity, you need sane people on the other side. And when you watch them not stand up for a mother that just lost her daughter, or not stand up for a great, brave helicopter pilot that did so well and so amazing in Venezuela, or not stand up when I ask the question, stand up if you love our country, think of it, and you love great American patriots, but don't stand up if you don't, or if you love illegal alien criminals. And not one of them stood up. They got killed in that. At the end of the night, they were all standing up for anything because the word was, they are getting killed. Pastor, did you see they were passing notes all over the place? Stand up for anything, stand up. They were instructed, they have terrible policy, terrible everything, but they do stay together, as bad as it is. But they were instructed, under no circumstances are you to applaud or stand up. So I say, stand up for a mother who lost her beautiful daughter, and they don't applaud. They sit there and eventually we just looked at him and said, you people are crazy. And they're crazy. And we got to win the midterms. We brought this country back. We don't want to lose the midterm. We got to win the midterms. We got to get out. You got to get out, or we got to vote, and we'll keep it all going. Better even than it is now, as good as it is. Tuesday night, in my State of the Union address, I laid out the historic actions my administration is taking to put more money in the pockets of workers and families like those here today, the greatest people on earth. You built the country. And to ensure that we always keep America first. They don't keep America first. They keep America last. With the help of our Republican majorities in Congress, we passed the largest tax cuts in American history. That includes no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. And the average Texas family will save over $4,000 on their taxes this year alone, and much more next year. We gave you the best tax cuts anyone's seen. We also got you an interest deduction if you buy a car. If you borrow some money to buy a car, you have a loan, you're allowed to deduct the interest for income tax purposes. Never happened before. But only if it's an American-made car. We put that in. We have cut a record number of job-killing regulations, slashing 129 old regulations for every one new regulation that we approve. So If we put a regulation on, we slash 129 old regulations, which is far and above what anybody's been able to do. We terminated the insane electric vehicle mandate where you had to have a car, like all-electric car, within a couple of years, yet it was not going to work. I mean, you don't mind driving 200 miles to get a charger, right? You ever see the signs? Charge, you're running out, you're running low, and they say, charging booth 112 miles to the right. These people are crazy, I'm telling you. But the mandate is over and the other radical attacks, and now you can go out and you can buy a gasoline-powered car, a hybrid, an electric car. You can buy whatever the hell you want. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion. So $1 trillion less, much less, of new investment came into the country. In less than 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion. So think of it. For 4 years, think of it, what it does to a place like this. 4 years, much less than $1 trillion. Less than 1 year, more than $18 trillion. I would say that's the difference between making America great again and making America a major loser. A short time ago, we were a dead country. We were totally a dead country. The King of Saudi Arabia said it to me. I was over. They invested $2 trillion in our country. I was over there with other great countries, but the King of Saudi Arabia said to me, President, 2 years ago, you were a dead country. Now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. Can you imagine? The stock market has hit 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that in 1 year. Adding trillions of dollars in value, Americans' pensions and 401ks and retirement accounts, they're all through the roof. Who has a 401k? Wow. Is anybody unhappy with the job I'm doing? Your 401ks have doubled, right? Are they doubled? I have a policeman, I tell the story, same guy, I meet him, but this wonderful, tough policeman from New York, he's taking good care of us. And he said, sir, it's so good my married life has gotten so much better. Why? My wife thought I was a loser financially. I couldn't make any money because my 401k was dying for years. And now she thinks I'm the smartest financial genius ever. It's made my sex life good. It's made my life good. It's given me a tremendous boost in life, sir. This is a big, tough cop. He said, my wife treated me like a dog, and now she admires my financial genius, and I haven't done anything. My 401k has gone through the roof. So I said, thank you very much. But everybody's there, right? Everybody's up. Has anybody gone down with their 401k? Because if you do, you're a loser. Nobody. And then, you hear these radical lunatics say, the stock market doesn't matter. Well, it does matter because they have 401ks, they have investments, they buy stocks without 401ks. It matters a lot. Our stock market's going through. We beat 50,000 on the Dow. They said when I got elected, if I could beat 50,000 by the end of my 4th year, it would be a tremendous miracle. And we then hit 7,000 on the S&P. And that was even tougher. They said there's no way that could be done. I did them both by the end of my 1st year. Not my 4th year, my 1st year. Which means you also did them both. So, so everybody's happy. And to help ensure that all Americans share in the gains from the rising stock market, I announced on Tuesday night that any worker whose employer does not provide matching contributions to a retirement account, my administration will begin matching your retirement savings with up to $1,000 a year. Nobody ever thought that's possible. And we passed a bill, the great big beautiful bill that the Democrats they're always saying, oh, the great big beautiful. They don't know. It's basically the great big beautiful tax cut bill. If you really want to look at it, probably more accurate name. Every parent can actively just activate all of their children's accounts. We have a new thing, and it was Michael and Susan Dell Computer. Go out and buy a Dell computer. They're great. because he put up $6.25 billion in the Trump accounts, and it's for children. It's tax-free investment accounts for every American child, every single American child born rich. So millions and millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan Dell who have donated think of it, $6 billion. He put up $6.25 billion, and now he wants to put up more to fund what's called the Trump accounts for 25 million American children, and that number is growing rapidly all the time. So these children, they reach 18 or 19 or 20, they could have over 100,000. They could have much more than that. Think of it. They'll be like rich. They started with nothing and a small amount of seed money, and by the time they're 18 years old, they could have well over $100,000. And to make this investment in our children's future, go to trumpaccounts.gov. It is amazing. It's going through the roof. One American who is benefiting tremendously from our tax cuts is Kevin Rhodes from Andrews, Texas. Kevin is a Marine Corps veteran who has spent 20 years in the oil and gas industry. Great guy, just met him. He works as a wells tech in Permian Basin, where he averages 15 hours a week in overtime. Now, there's no tax on overtime anymore, Kevin. As a result, Kevin and his wife, Marcy, will take home more than $7,000 extra this year thanks to no tax on overtime, with money that they are going to take. The two boys are on a road trip to Yellowstone National Park. Nice place. Well, you could save the money or you could buy a house or do whatever the hell you want with it, right? But you know what? I'd like to have Kevin and Marcy come up. They're so happy. No tax, in this case, overtime. But think of it. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for the seniors. So who the hell else could have gotten that? Come on up, Kevin.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a huge honor to be here in Corpus Christi, Texas, with everyone here. Thank you to Oil and Gas Workers Association also. I stand here as a Marine Corps veteran, with my wife, who is a small business owner. We own a small catering company. We are products of the oil and gas industry of West Texas. We send our oil here to Corpus Christi to send out across the world. With the legislation that has been passed with a no tax on overtime, we were able to buy a commercial refrigerator for our business. And then, like Mr. President said, we're going to take our kids on a trip to Yellowstone and Grand Teton. We are just Americans, two parents trying to give the best life to their children. Opportunities for both of our sons, one who is in automation, fixing to go into the oil and gas industry. We have big dreams and are excited for the future of this nation and our family. We are grateful that God has given us a president like Mr. Trump that allows us to we are grateful that he has put America first. So God bless you, Mr. President, and God bless this nation.
Thank you very much. Good luck with it. You have a good life, okay? Thank you. That's great. Thank you very much, both. So we're also grateful to be joined by a man who's, they say, the most talented man in the oil industry. Doug Burgum, who, as you know, is a great gentleman. He was former governor of North Dakota. I wanted to put him at energy. He said, sir, I'm really good at energy, but there's one man that's better, and his name is Chris Wright. So I made Chris Wright the Secretary of Energy, and he has really proven to be fantastic, wherever you are, Chris. Where is Chris? Thank you. And he's got a beautiful hat. Beautiful. I love the hat. Gulf of America. I love that hat. We have one of the great governors of our country. He is an unbelievable guy, a tremendous friend of mine, and he is something very special. He's tough as hell, I want to tell you. If you think he's a nice guy, you're wrong. He's tough, he's mean, but it's all for you. So I want to just say, Greg Abbott, we love you, Greg Abbott. Good. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Thank you. He's been the chairman of my campaign all three times. All three times we set records. We set records like nobody. Okay, I don't want to brag, but in the history of Texas, I have, correct, Governor? I have by far the largest number of votes ever gotten, and it was the highest, then the highest again, and we just topped it big in the last election. So we have the highest ever gotten by a lot, by millions of votes. I think I got to move here fast. I'll stay in Washington for a little while. We'll stay in Washington for a little while longer. So thank you very much. And we have a great Attorney General, Ken Paxton. Where's Ken? Hi, Ken. Hi, Ken. And we have a great Senator, John Cornyn. Hi, John. Thank you, John. They're in a little race together. You know that, right? A little bit of a race. It's going to be an interesting one, right? They're both great people, too. Thank you both very much. We appreciate it. Texas House Speaker Dustin Burrows is here doing a terrific job. Hi, Dustin. Thank you, Dustin. Good job. Like you much better than the last guy, Dustin. And we have a senator who's really an amazing guy. I'm thinking about putting him in the Supreme Court. No, I'm thinking, because it's very hard, getting these nominations through is very tough. And he's the only guy I know. He'll get 100% of the Democrat vote, 100% of the Republican vote. They want to get him out of there. He is such a pain in the ass, but he's so good and so talented. Ted Cruz. That's right. If we ever had a problem, I just picked Ted. That'd solve that problem. No, he's a great guy. And he's a very talented guy, too. Smart. Representatives John Carter, Randy Weber, Jason Smith, Brian Babin. These are all incredible warriors, by the way. Jody Arrington, Lance Gooden, Chip Roy running for office. Chip? Where's Chip? You're doing a good job, Chip. Michael Cloud. That's right. He's the, oh, look at that. Whoa. Okay, this is his district, and people like you. I've had some bad things where I introduce people from a district, and then they like you, Michael. That's good. And you know what? Honestly, they should, because he's a phenomenal congressman, a phenomenal friend, and a phenomenal congressman. Thank you for the great job, and you got that dredging. Is it 54 or 56 feet? Yeah. In other words, 54. He said, go with 54. You got that done. We got it done together, right? Made a big difference. Thank you very much. You have a great congressman. Congressman Tony Gonzalez is here. Tony, congratulations. Jake Elzy, Monica De La Cruz. Thank you. Keith Self, good guy. Oh, these are great people. Thank you, Keith. Brandon Gill, a young one. I endorsed him. I said, a very dear friend of mine happens to have a slight relationship, right? I endorsed him. I said, what does he know about politics? That was like 4 years ago. He knows a lot. You've been fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you, Brandon. And another friend of mine who's doing very well, Wesley Hunt. Where's Wesley? Wesley Hunt. Doing a good job. Thank you, Wesley. Well, you do have an interesting election. You have a couple of them going on. Texas is so good. I never really appreciated Texas because I won by so much it wasn't fun. But I'd rather have it that way, so let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way. Director of Federal Housing Finance Agency, a genius financially, Bill Pulte. Hi, Bill. President and founder of the Oil and Gas Workers Association, very popular guy, Matt Code. And we have an actor who's one of the best actors in America. He played He played a gentleman that preceded me by a few years named Ronald Reagan. And Dennis Quaid has gotten accolades all over the place. And he really is good. Dennis Quaid. Where are you, Dennis? Dennis Quaid. Hey, Dennis, come here, Dennis. Come here. You know, they like celebrities and actors more than politicians in Medicare. Say a couple of words.
Thank you, sir. Hello, Corpus Christi. Hello, Texas. My home state. I love Corpus Christi. And I love Donald Trump.
Thank you, Dennis. Did a great job. Thank you, Dennis. Got a new movie coming out, by the way. Thanks as well to several great Texas patriots. Jessica Steinman, who's doing unbelievably well. Where's Jessica? You're around here someplace. Thank you, Jessica. Alex Mailer. Alex, thank you. Thank you, Alex. Chris Gabber. Thank you, Chris. Mark Teixeira. Yank, are you the great Mark? He could throw that ball. We need you. We need you desperately. And I hear you doing very well. I endorsed all of these people, by the way. And I hear you doing very well. I'll tell you what, that's the end of the Democrats' chances of winning the game. When you have a top major league player in your team, they're in deep trouble. That's good. We're rooting for you, big. I'm a big fan, too. What a great baseball player you were. Thank you very much. Thanks, Mark. Jace Yarborough. Jace, thank you very much, Jace. Good job. They're all leading. John Bonk. They're all leading in the polls, every one of them. And I want to call up 3 people that are running, and we don't even have the polls yet, but they're, I think, doing well. When we endorse people, I take it seriously, but these people we endorse, and just run on up here real fast. Carlos De La Cruz, Webb County Judge Tano Tijerina. Tijerina, come on up. And former Assistant Attorney Eric Flores are all running, and I think they're doing great. Say a couple of words.
I have to first thank our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for opening every single door for my family. I want to thank my family, Annette, and my daughter, Rebecca. And Mr. President, I want to thank you, sir, for securing our borders and making America strong. And I got a lot of fight in me, sir. And I'm going to make sure that Texas 35 brings you a wingman.
Mr. President, it's true an honor to stand up here. Soy un mexicano, Mexican-American, soy un mexicano pero orgulloso, porque aquí estoy con el mejor presidente de todo el mundo. Mr. President, this is South Texas right here. Hard-working patriots, faith-filled patriots, Mr. President. Men and women that power this country, that our ports, our refineries, our ranches, and our military bases. Aquí no tenemos miedo para trabajar. Nunca tenemos miedo. We're not just a border, but we're the future, Mr. President. And we're here to back you up and continue the fight, fight, fight.
Woo! Mr. President, I am honored to be here with you today. As someone who has worn the uniform of the United States Army and locked up some of the worst, I believe in strength, never backing down and staying focused on the mission. That is the kind of leadership that you have brought back to America, and that's the leadership that I will bring to D.C. to fight for Texas 34 and always have your back, Mr. President. South Texas stands ready to do our part to secure our borders, grow our economy, and keep America strong. Thank you for being here, Mr. President, in Corpus Christi. Thank you for your endorsement and for your trust. And above all, thank you for your unwavering, unapologetic devotion to our great nation. God bless you, Mr. President.
Good guys. They're all, I hear, doing really well. We haven't seen the polls, but they're all winning. Everybody I named is winning. But every day, and it's interesting, the governor called me after the last election. He said, you did something no Republican has ever done. You won every border town and little border city, but every border town, all the way up and down, all the way from one side to the other. He said, first time it's ever happened since, he used the word Reconstruction, right? And I said, by Reconstruction, are you saying the Civil War? Is that what you're saying? That was a fancy way of saying the Civil War. He said, that's the first time it's happened. We won every single and largely Hispanic vote. We love the Hispanic voters. We love them. And what a lot of people didn't understand, that the Hispanic voter wants safety and understands safety better than anybody else. So when I said we want safety, we want law and order, they got it better than anybody else, and they voted for Trump. So I just want to thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, man. Every day under the Trump administration, we're taking on the corruption and fraud that drives up your cost of living, and we're defending the honest, hardworking citizens of our country like you. Under the most favored nation agreements for drug prices, we're slashing drug prices at record levels like never seen before, with price differences of 400, 500, even 600%. I went to other countries. I said, no way. We were paying the highest prices in the entire world by far, and now we're paying the lowest price. It's numbers that have come down for decades. Think of it. For decades, Americans have paid the highest drug prices. Nobody's ever paid more. We would pay sometimes 8, 10, 12 times more than places in Europe and other countries. But from now on, because of what I did, we're going to be paying the lowest price. It's called favored nations, most favored nations. So these incredible price reductions are available right now. And I didn't name this, but somebody did. They thought it was good. I said, whatever sells. TrumpRx.gov, TrumpRx. And you'll see numbers. You'll see numbers where, and I tell the story of a friend of mine, very smart, very heavy guy, I'm trying to be nice, never use the word fat. Very heavy, slightly obese, but he takes the fat drug and it didn't work. But he's a very brilliant guy. He's highly neurotic, very brilliant, very smart, rich. He calls me, he was in London, he called me, he said, he takes the fat drug, one of the many fat drugs. And he says, in New York, I pay $1,300. And in London, I'm paying $87. What the hell is going on? So he checked it. He's a man of means, same plant, same factory, same manufacturer, shipped over to London, and it's a tiny fraction. He said, what is it? And I said, well, that started years ago, and nobody's been able to do anything about it, but I'm working on it hard. I got it done. And I got it done by saying very simply to the other countries, if you're not going to do it, we're going to charge you a massive tariff that's many times more, because they had to approve it. The drug companies approved it, the countries approved it, and now you'll have a pill that would sell for $1, but in New York would sell for $13. And now that pill is selling in London for $2 or $3, and it's selling in New York for $2 or $3. Came all the way down. And I said, that alone, Governor, that alone should win us the midterms. Ted, that alone should win us the midterms. That is the single biggest thing to happen. It's a revolution in prescription drugs. Your prices are going down 80%, 85%, 70%. Numbers that nobody ever saw. In my first term, I had a year, my third year, where I got it down 0.25%. Think of it, 1/4. I was so proud of myself, I called a news conference immediately. I announced that I got, because nobody in 28 years had gotten drug prices down, I got them down from the beginning of the year to the end, 1/4%. I thought it was great because nobody else had done it for 28 years. Now I've got them down 80%, 85%, 75, 55. And that should really do it. And other presidents have tried, and they were unable to get it. They were unable to get the other countries to do it. They were unable to get the drug companies. Everything's done. Everything is signed up. You know that Ted and John and everybody, everything is signed up, done. And there it is. I mean, it's amazing. Now it's just taking hold. When it was done, a major paper, it's the single biggest thing in years in medicine. A major paper put it on page 22 of the newspaper. So we have to explain it. It's the biggest thing. It's the greatest thing, one of the great things. And that also has to do with bringing your health care way down. And since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act, which is Obamacare, did you ever hear of Barack Hussein Obama? Barack Hussein. Who likes Barack Hussein Obama? Who doesn't like him? I've heard worse, honestly. I've heard less popular people than that. Big insurance companies have gotten rich with our government, giving them hundreds of billions of dollars as their stock prices soared because Obamacare was good. It's rotten health insurance. Good for one reason, the insurance companies. The insurance companies made a fortune. The insurance companies own Democrats. They own them. So the Democrats never want to do anything good for us. They want to do it for the insurance companies. That's why Obamacare is terrible, and it's way too expensive. So that's why in introducing we call it the Great Healthcare Plan, I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies, and all money, billions and billions of dollars, goes directly to the people so that you can buy your own health care, which is better and much less expensive than Obamacare. Right? You like that, Dan? Dan Patrick likes it. If Dan Patrick likes it, I like it. How good a chairman was Dan Patrick, right? He's undefeated as chairman, right there. As I announced on Tuesday, under our new Ratepayer protection pledge, we're also telling the big tech companies that energy usage, AI data centers cannot drive up electric prices in communities. They have an obligation to pay that. We have told them, you got to build your own power plant. You can't take it. You got to build it. And actually, we're doing them a favor because they never thought they'd have it so good. Because our grid, which is very old and broken, tired, and doesn't have great capacity, cannot sustain the kind of numbers that you're draining out of it. So I gave them the right, and now it's mandatory. I made it mandatory where they have to build their own electric power plant, so they're no longer taking out of the community. And any excess they give back into the grid. So the grid is actually going to be enhanced as opposed to hurt. They wouldn't have been able. We're leading China. We're leading everybody right now in AI. And the reason we're doing it is because they're building their own plant. Otherwise, we couldn't build much at all. And so I just want you to know, as you see these massive plants, they're building their own power plant. They're becoming essentially their own utility. We're expanding the dream of home ownership to millions of Americans. And after I directed the purchase of $200 billion in mortgage bonds, that's $200 billion in mortgage bonds. Mortgage rates just fell substantially lower than 6% for the first time in 5 years. The annual cost of a typical new mortgage is now down almost $5,000 in 1 year. Think of that. And I have a lousy guy in the Fed. Terrible. Jerome Too Late. You know what? He's too late. You know why we call him too late? He's too late in reducing mortgage interest rates or interest rate. He's not doing too good. But fortunately, he's going to be out of there soon. But even despite him, you know, did you ever hear you got a little wall, an obstacle, you power through, we power through the wall. He's a wall that we just power through. In the past 12 months, we've helped over 50,000 first-time homebuyers in Texas get the house of their dreams, and we've really created the American dream. By the way, our country right now, this is the golden age of America. We're in the golden age. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of the golden age. They're going to be reading about this in 100 years. We are in the golden age of America. We got to keep it going. Got to win the midterms. We got to keep it going. Last month, I signed an executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying large numbers of family homes, single-family homes. No, you'd have these firms go out and buy 2,000 houses. We don't want it. We want you to buy the houses, not them. We're also fighting to pass the Save America Act, my all-time favorite. It's my all-time favorite, the Save America Act. We got it, John. You hear that, Ted? You're unstoppable because, you know, they cheat like hell in elections, in case you haven't noticed. They cheated in the third election. Second election was ridiculous. We got them. We caught them. It's all coming out. Coming out daily. It's coming out. They cheated like dogs. That guy couldn't win. But to stop illegal aliens and other unpermitted persons, see, that's a politically correct, unpermitted persons, rather than illegal aliens. They'd rather have us use unpermitted persons. The first time I've ever heard that word, those words. I don't sort of like them, unpermitted persons. Is that the new phrase we're using? The governor says no. Good. Thank you. No, Ted, right? Unpermitted. He's an unpermitted person. He's killed 19 people. We're not permitting him in. From voting in our sacred American elections. We don't want people that aren't citizens of our country voting. We don't want people that aren't studied, and we don't want people that can't love our country voting in our elections. So it's very simple. All voters must show this is the Save America Act. Now think of it. I watched Schumer the other day. We will stop the Save America Act. I said, no, we're talking about saving America. It's a really hard thing. It was like MAGA. Biden, remember Biden? He made those speeches. We will stop MAGA. Then he falls off the stage. We will stop MAGA. We must stop MAGA. He had no idea what. And I said, no. MAGA is Make America Great Again. You don't want to stop it. You don't want to stop MAGA. And this may be even better. The Save America Act. I watched Schumer today. We're going to stop the Save America Act. You know what it is? Basically voter ID, etc. But what's wrong with that? So they came up with all different theories about why anybody shouldn't. You have voter ID for everything. No matter where you go, it's ID. You have an identification for everything, except for one of the most sacred things you can be doing is voting. And the reason they don't want voter ID is because they want to cheat. Because the only way they can get elected is to cheat. Because their policies are no good. They do stick together. You saw that the other night. They wouldn't stand up and clap for anyone, for anybody. We could introduce, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the late, great Amelia Earhart. Here she is. They would not clap. They wouldn't clap for anybody. There was nothing I can think of where they would clap. They're sick people. So they don't want all votes must show voter ID. All voters must show three simple things. Proof of citizenship in order to vote. Voter ID, proof of citizenship. And then third, and I'm telling you, it's the most important, no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. And if I had my choice, I think I'd take that one. You want to know the truth? There's more cheating with mail-in ballots. They drop them in the river. See this beautiful port? You see the damn things floating down? It is so terrible. Our elections are so rigged and crooked. And those three things will solve it. Think of it. Voter ID, proof of citizenship, no mail-in ballots, with exceptions. Military, we want an exception. Illness, disability, we're on an exception. And if you're traveling, you're on a business trip, you're somewhere, even a vacation, you can vote by mail. But that's a very small number of people. And you will see that they will never win another election again. They will never win because their policy is no good. They want men playing in women's sports. They want transgender for everybody. They want open borders so that the world's criminals can pour into our country, which... Have we done a good job? I'll tell you what, ICE, ICE has done such a great job. And Border Patrol. You know that for the last it's hard to believe. You remember the problems 2 years ago, you people, everybody was going crazy. People were pouring into our country by the millions. In the last 9 months, and this is done by radicals, radical lefts. In the last 9 months, 0 people came into our country through your southern border illegal. And remember when Biden said, well, for that we need legislation. I said, no, you need a new president. And I was right. I didn't get legislation. I said to Paul Perez, close your border, Paul. Close it. Where's Paul? Is he here? Where the hell is Paul? He's the greatest. That guy is great. I'd have him come up and speak, but he's such a good speaker that I don't like that. I only want to follow terrible, terrible speakers. That way they say, Trump is a brilliant speaker. We got big ratings the other night, by the way. Big, like record ratings. Everything was clicking. You want to come up, Paul? Come on up, Paul. Show off to your family. He's got a beautiful family. What a beautiful family. Now watch, I'll put pressure on him. Don't blow it, Paul. This is your one opportunity. This is a big crowd, Paul. Don't get nervous. No, Paul is just incredible. And he rates Trump the single greatest president in history. That's why I have him. He says he's the GOAT. The GOAT. No, we've had a couple good. We haven't had too many, actually. Come on up, Paul.
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you for the ride home on Air Force One. Really appreciated that. I am the president of the National Border Patrol Council, and I can tell you without a doubt, President Trump is the only president that backed up every campaign promise he made when it came to the border and everything else. We have record drops in immigration, in border crossings, in drug seizures, because President Trump, within 1 hour of being inaugurated, allowed us to do more than what Biden allowed us to do in the entire 4-year term. President Trump is the best president in the history of this country. Prove me wrong.
He does a great job. He does a great job, the whole group. ICE, Border Patrol, law enforcement. By the way, our great firemen, how about that? You know, one of the things, and we can just talk today, we're together. One of the things that I'm most proud of, if you go back 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years under the last administration, we had the worst recruitment for our military in the history of our country. Nobody wanted to be a soldier. They didn't want Army, Air Force, Navy. They didn't want the Marines. They didn't want even beautiful Space Force or Coast Guard. They didn't want to be in the police. They didn't want to be in the fire departments. They didn't want to be anywhere. They didn't want anything with a uniform because it represented our country. Since then, and it started really with November 5th, which was the election, but since November 5th, we have the highest record of recruitment in the history of our country. Think of that. And that includes ICE and Border Patrol. And I want to thank Paul because that group of people does a great job. Think of it. I guess it's 9 months now, registered 0. Now, I don't even believe it could possibly be that low because millions of people, but it's pretty close to 0. And they say it's 0. If they say it's 0, it has to be. They're Democrats that do it, so they're not going to give me any benefits. Just over 1 year ago, we inherited a total disaster. 4 years now. Think of it. 4 years we had ruinous inflation, economic surrender. We surrendered to the whole world. A border invasion, rampant crime and chaos. All over the world they laughed at us. But today we have ended that disaster and achieved a turnaround for the ages. Nobody's ever seen it like this. Nobody has ever seen a 1 year turnaround like we had. Think of it. We were a laughing stock 1.5 years ago, and now we're hot. We're hot. I was going to say like that person in the audience, but I won't say that. because that could be career ending. So I don't do that. We're hot. Our country is the hottest country in the world. America is back. Our economy is roaring, and our country is strong, and we're respected again. They're respecting us again. China respects us. Russia respects us. They all respect, and they respect your president. They respect, and I respect them. We've got a lot of things going on. Now we have a big decision to make. You know that. Not easy. Not easy. We have a very big decision to make. We have a country that's been, for 47 years, blowing people's legs off, arms off, the face. They've been knocking out ships, killing people, lots of people, not only Americans, lots of people. It's been terrible. 32,000 people killed over the last 2-3 months, protesters. 32,000. That's some number of people. 32,000. They want to make a deal, but got to make a deal that's meaningful. I spoke with Ted Cruz, John, all of them. On the way here, I said, well, you got to make a deal that's meaningful. We hit them real hard, as you know, with those beautiful B-2 bombers recently, knocked out their nuclear capability. But I'd rather do it the peaceful way, but they're very difficult people. I want to tell you that. They're very dangerous people, very difficult people. With the help of proud Texans like you and people we have today, and I want to just thank you because it is true. We have had voting in Texas. They say, sir, you don't have to go to Texas. You're leading by a lot. I said, I want to go to Texas. You know? I want to go to Texas. I love Texas. I love Texas. It just represents something special. It's success. It's great, incredible people. But they said, see, you don't have to go there. I'm telling you, sir. You're wasting your time, sir. You don't need it. I said, I'm going to Texas. I don't give a damn if I'm wasting it. But we're going to keep on working, and we'll keep on fighting. Texas will keep on drilling. Corpus Christi will keep on shipping. And the United States of America will keep on winning, winning, winning like we've never won before. And together we will make our country richer and stronger and safer and prouder and freer and greater than ever before. And I just want to tell everybody here, I appreciate everything you've done for me. And I've done a lot for you, too. But I love you all very much. And thank you, Corpus Christi. Thank you very much. Thank you, Texas. Thank you, everybody.
I saw SV had to usher a guy out today. And one of the reasons, and the guy that he had to usher out of the chat was like, we've heard it all before. Excuse me, I've talked all week long. We've heard it all before. We're done tired of hearing this. And you say stuff like that, and you're being very, what would be the term? Myopic, selfish, because that means you don't care if other people haven't seen it, if other people haven't heard it. In order to grow this tent, we've got to bring people in who aren't hearing the message. By being pissed off because you've heard it before, that really doesn't do anything for the movement. And then when you take that a step forward and say it's not working, which the gentleman actually said, well, I'm pretty sure right now with the polls and you can see his demeanor, we're definitely winning. We just watched a group of people who sat down because they wouldn't even acknowledge that a politician's first job is to protect America. We just saw people sit down because they wouldn't allow or don't want to allow voter ID. And it's not on the television with what we just saw. It's not there. Fox News, the only supposed, outlet on the right, they're not showing it. Luckily, you're here, and you guys can begin being those people who push out the messaging. And that's what's absolutely needed, is people to push out the messaging. That's why I'm here. We all have to do our part. We're all in this together. So, yes, you know how many rallies I've shown? I probably could script a lot of what he's doing. I notice when there's changes, when he doesn't do this bit, he goes here, because I've heard it many, many times. It helps. You know, I don't know if you've ever played ball, but you run the same play in practice over and over. You get to know it. I had put up a poll. I think the poll is still up as we're talking right now. And what was very interesting is the gentleman who got pissed off. Oh, nobody's arresting anybody. Nothing's happening. And I'm looking at this poll, which anybody could have voted in. Right now, there's 3,700 votes. What's the most important midterm issue for you? 92% of people say the SAVE Act. 6% say gas, food, and prices. 1%, 1% say that Epstein is important. That doesn't mean we don't think, and I think I can speak for every single one of you. It doesn't mean that we don't think saving these children isn't important. Of course it is. We want all these people strung up by their toes. But it doesn't do anything for our lives. It doesn't do anything for the country. It is some sort of drive of sensationalism, because those people will get their just desserts one way or the other. We need to save America. Epstein, all that stuff doesn't save America. We need to make sure that we keep going, we keep winning. But to each its own. Looking at some of the notes, for one of the big notes that I took from this speech, we're going to talk about tomorrow. He just said 50,000 people just in, I don't know if he said Corpus Christi, he must have been Texas, have been able to buy new homes. Oh my gosh, I didn't think that was possible. Yep. So that's happening. I'm going to show you my interview with Scott Turner tomorrow. Hopefully that one came out well. With SV's help and a couple of you, I was able to research the whole thing with SCOTUS and tariffs. It's rather long. I won't read the whole thing, but he has until March 17th to apply to be reheard. It says it's a very long shot. The court denies the vast majority, over 99% of rehearing requests. Readjudication, which might refer to a real trial, is unlikely. The decision is final unless the court itself grants a rehearing or Congress passes new legislation, which isn't going to happen. So it's a long shot. But who knows? Maybe they will agree to rehear it. Maybe 5 of them will say, you know what? Let's take this under further advisement. We shall see. It's worth a shot. He's going to take the shot. I'm happy that he is looking for alternatives. So, like I said in the scroll, I've got two more, two short interviews I want to share with you before we go and break on a Friday night. But before I get to that, in about 90 seconds, I want to tell you about Brightcore, one of the sponsors of tonight's show. Early onset dementia and Alzheimer's are on the rise. Reports show a 373% increase in diagnoses among 30 to 44-year-old people, and a 311% increase in people 45 to 54. In addition, I saw something on the news today that said that heart attacks are up 50-something% in young people. The food, the other stuff, the jabademic, it's killing people. When doctors treat brain diseases, they often focus on medicating the brain itself, addressing symptoms instead of the root cause, which is chronic inflammation and oxidative stress. These factors damage brain cells and lead to the buildup of toxic proteins, the hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. But like much of the body, many brain issues trace back to the gut microbiome. There's a direct communication line between your gut and your brain, the gut-brain axis, as it's called, where gut bacteria influences inflammation, mood, memory, and cognitive function. That's why what you eat matters so much. Did you know that U.S. life expectancy peaked at 78 years in 2014, and global life expectancy is declining for the first time in 30 years because people are aging faster than ever. And this is due to more toxins in the air, chemicals in our soil and food, and other external factors that are new to us. What most people don't know is that we can actually fight aging on a cellular level. Brightcore has given me this study for you guys to take a look at. Scientists discovered that kimchi actually slows the aging process of human cells. And of course, you've seen RFK Jr. Kimchi helps protect them and delay aging at the cellular level. The power of nature can outweigh the power of pharmaceuticals without the nasty side effects. And now you can get all the benefits of kimchi in one simple, convenient capsule with Kimchi One. Each capsule delivers over 900 probiotic strains plus antioxidants and enzymes that support your digestion, your metabolism, and your skin health from the inside out. As we age, we become more susceptible to microbial threats. Kimchi One is a natural antimicrobial, and it will help your body fight off harmful bacteria, viruses, and even toxins while boosting immunity and energy. Best of all, Kimchi One is 100% made in the USA. It is all natural, non-GMO. So support your gut, protect your cells, and feel younger every day with Kimchi One from Brightcore. I can tell you, after being up in Washington where it was really cold and then coming back to Florida where it was really hot and going through 3 days of meetings and interviews, it really felt good that the energy level was up and I didn't get sick yet. So knock on wood. Today you can get an exclusive offer by clicking the link in the description and just using the code Barry for 25% off your entire order. Or for an even better deal, you can call my friends directly at Brightcore for up to 50% off your order and free shipping. Give them a call now at 888-418-6738. All right, let me tell you about Rumble, one of today's sponsors. You may have seen the conversations happening online lately. Censorship is back, and it's happening everywhere. Platforms are controlling narratives called algorithms and pushing the stuff they want you to see. We need to fight back. Rumble is the only company that has stood the test of time and deserves our support. On one side, Rumble is challenging big tech, censorship, and now they've also introduced another site, something that will give us protection from big banks shutting us off. Banks can cancel our accounts and they can freeze our cards. So that's why they've launched Rumble Wallet, a wallet that no one can cancel and a wallet that supporters can use to instantly tip their creators without any middlemen taking cuts. With Rumble Wallet, you control your money. Not a bank, not a government, not a tech company, not even Rumble can touch the money. It's yours. It's only yours. It's yours to protect your future and your family. It's not only just a wallet to buy and save, but it allows you to support your family, favorite creators by easily tipping them with the click of a button. There will be no fees when you tip my channel or others, and we actually receive the tip instantly, unlike other platforms where we have to wait for payouts. Support my show and other creators by clicking the tip button on my Rumble channel if you're watching on Rumble. It's wallet.rumble.com. Download Rumble Wallet today, open an account, and step away from the big banks for good. Wallet.rumble.com, or search Rumble Wallet in your Play Store or App Store.
The House Freedom Caucus led in passing the Save America Act in the House to require voter ID and citizenship to vote in federal elections. Now it goes to the Senate. You're going to hear the excuse that it needs 60 votes to pass there, but that's not true. Senate rules allow bringing the Save America Act to the floor at any time. If 51 Republicans show up, Democrats would have to filibuster, standing and talking, hour after hour, to block it. As long as Republicans show a backbone and stay united, Democrats will eventually run out of time to talk. Tell your senator to make the Democrats actually debate instead of just giving in to them. The House Freedom Caucus says the Senate should support President Trump and the House in passing this law essential to saving America. The Freedom Caucus Foundation is responsible for this ad.
So those guys, the Freedom Caucus, I was able to talk to Eric Burleson, and in addition to that, Keith Self. And these guys were also out there today at the Clinton deposition. They had a couple of press conferences. So I'm going to let you hear what these guys have to say. I love what Keith Self had to say because he really dug into what has to happen with the Save America Act. And you can almost sense the frustration from both of them. You know, that if you're not familiar with the Freedom Caucus, they are pretty much, they want to burn it down. They want President Trump just to burn it down, start fresh, do what you need to do, get it done. And they don't like the fact that all this stuff that John Thune is doing, which makes no sense whatsoever, why John Thune is seemingly going against President Trump, but at the same time, President Trump says he's doing a great job. You know that, the whole thing with recess appointments, President Trump is probably the first president who hasn't been able to do a single recess appointment. Not one. Every time they go on break, John Thune holds session and does pro forma sessions where they're open for like 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, just so President Trump can't make a recess appointment on that day. And then President Trump says he's doing a good job. I don't get it. But here's the interview with both of these men, and I'll let it run. I'll stop in between them so I can see what you guys are thinking.
My name's Eric Burleson. I'm the congressman from Southwest Missouri, the Missouri 7th Congressional District.
So, I know you guys have been walking around. Today you got another big vote. What are you looking at about the SAVE Act? Are we going to Save America Act? We're going to get that done?
You know, the problem is we got it over to the Senate. The problem is the Senate doesn't do their job. You have a bunch of octogenarians over there who are one step away from a nursing home.
You're not going to make friends.
No, it's fine. I didn't come up here to make friends. But they need to hear the truth, which is that every other Senate in every state in the United States has, when people filibuster, they actually have to go to the floor and talk. And this Senate used to operate that for over 150 plus years. They need to do their job. Go back to doing what the American people expect, which is that if you're going to filibuster, you have to stand and you have to talk. Mm-hmm. And that what happens is it's a painful process, right? I used to be a state senator. It's not fun, but it forces you to come to the table. It forces you to start having conversations about maybe what we could compromise, what we're not going to compromise on. But at the end of the day, it's not acceptable that major issues like the Save America Act are never going to pass until we have 60 votes in the Senate. We're never going to have 60 votes.
On either side, it's never going to happen.
Right. So the truth is, they need to. I wouldn't be in favor of eliminating the filibuster altogether, because I do think that that's an important process, and that's what the Founding Fathers wanted the Senate to do. Right. But they didn't want the Senate. The Founding Fathers never intended for the Senate to basically wait for 60 votes and do nothing, not lift a finger. This is why you have a bunch of people that are one step away from the nursing home, because if they actually had to physically go out there and do their job, they would retire very quickly.
So you sound like you're for term limits too.
I am for term limits, yeah.
What's the likelihood of that ever changing if you can't even get a vote?
Oh, it'll never happen.
Never happen.
Never happen. So there's a lot of things that this country has to do that we really must do, and including we need to reform the healthcare system. Mm-hmm. We need to continue to make sure that our borders are secure. We need to basically make Trump's executive orders permanent into law, because we never want to go down that path again that we were facing, where we had complete open borders.
So how do you get it done? They eliminated, but they haven't been paying and let people just filibuster without showing up. What's it going to take to get them to actually do the talking bill?
The American people have to be calling and pounding on the doors of these senators and demanding that they actually do this.
And what time frame would that take? I mean, where are we in the process?
It needs to happen now. It needs to happen now. And when Leader Thune says, well, a filibuster will eat up several days of floor activity. Well, what else are you going to do? You're going to pass another bill to rename the post office? or like all of the swampy things, they're fine doing, but they're not fine doing the things that are necessary to save this country. It's time that they set all the swampy agenda aside and do the thing that's right.
You sound frustrated.
Very frustrated.
So, I mean, and you can't be alone. There's got to be some other people who feel the same way. But what can you guys do?
Well, what I'm doing right now, I'm not holding back. I'm calling them out.
Right.
And I think that the American people need to not hold back either.
All right. We see what's happening with potentially in Iran. We see what's going on in Mexico in the last couple of days. Where are you in terms of what we should be doing with those two fronts?
You know, I think that this administration has, whether you want to call it the Trump doctrine or is a doctrine that I can buy in with, which is, we're not putting boots on the ground. If we have regimes that are hostile to the interests of the United States and they are an absolute threat to us, we don't need to put boots on the ground to send a message. And so I think that he's done it. Our military, under the direction of President Trump, has done a great job, and I hope that they continue that.
I know you got to go see people over here. Quick question: you're also a big advocate for changing the way or helping facilitate home buying. What do you have in mind for that?
There's a lot of inventory out there that's in the hands of people that have rental homes, right? There's a lot of mom and pop rental home businesses where they, it's just individuals that have 1, 2, 3, 5 rental homes.
Yeah.
What my agenda is to encourage them to sell to a first-time home buyer that's a U.S. citizen, and if you do, then you're allowed to pay for their down payment. With the money that you would normally pay to the federal government in the form of capital gains tax.
Well, can't you do that now with like an FHA loan? Because you can give people the down payment.
Right, but they're not going to be able. That won't cover their capital gains tax. So it's a tax deduction, but there's a complete difference between a tax credit or a credit on your taxes that are due, and what would be a tax deduction.
How do you get the messaging out to some of these younger people who are trying to buy homes that you're not going to live on the ocean, you're not going to live on, like I'm in South Florida, you're not going to have a big house on the intercoastal. You have to go where you can afford, which it seems like the messaging problem is they've got, the old champagne taste on a beer budget.
Yeah.
You, me, as we grew up.
My first home was a starter home. My wife and I deliberately bought a home that was well within our means because we didn't want to be house poor.
Right.
It wasn't our dream home. Eventually we were able to get into our dream home, but it took us almost 20 years to do that.
How do we instill that work ethic and that financial ethic into younger people who've not been taught it?
Yeah, I think that we just need to allow the market to play itself out and allow people to face the reality of the decisions that they make.
Yeah, but it seems like the colleges and the Democrat Party have given these people big eyes. The other parties, they don't have the income.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's why I was really proud to see that when we passed the One Big Beautiful Bill that we reinstituted work requirements for our welfare systems and made sure that those systems are really only in place for the people that truly need it, the elderly, the disabled, children, of single parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to make sure that those systems are available for them, not for the able-bodied young adult, the 30-something-year-old still living in his parents' basement, not working. We need to encourage that population to get out and work.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
And good luck with trying to get all that stuff done.
Thank you.
I feel your frustration, which I'm sure many Americans do. It's like, do your damn jobs.
Yes.
I mean, the Senate talking about not having enough time. Not having enough time to do what? What's more important than get voter ID passed?
Right. Exactly.
God.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day, sir.
You too.
Thank you. So that was Eric Burleson. He's frustrated. I think I told you a couple of days ago, that's the overarching theme that I kept finding from people, because most of these people that you're seeing right now are from the congressional side, and they are extremely frustrated with the Senate. Like, do it. I want to make sure everybody knows the passage of the Save America Act has already been done in the House. They've already passed it. We're just waiting for the Senate to get it done. But they're not getting it done. And these guys are like, man, we did our job. We're just waiting for you. And I don't think enough people understand that. I don't think enough people realize Congress has already done their job. They did it. They got the turkey into the oven, and we just need someone to take the turkey out the oven and carve it, and these people aren't doing it. So the next guy I talked to is Keith Self from Texas. President Trump just mentioned him. He's also on the Freedom Caucus as well. And he does a good job, and I think you guys will find some education here. He does a great job of educating and tell you exactly how the standing filibuster actually works. But there's something I got to show you about him beforehand.
Happening right now in the Lone Star State. There are multiple Muslim-only housing developments that already exist or are in the planning stages, including the Meadows, Epic City, right there in my district. It's currently under investigation by the state of Texas. An Islamic imam in Dallas called the police on a fellow Muslim for simply talking to a Christian pastor. An imam in the Houston area was filmed threatening to occupy stores that sold goods that are incompatible with Sharia. Just yesterday, at a taxpayer-funded high school in my district, an Islamic group set up a booth during the school day to pass out Qurans, unauthorized. They did that. These examples multiply daily. The spread has gotten so serious that on March the 3rd, a proposition to ban Sharia will appear on the Texas primary ballot. And I encourage all Texans to go to and vote for that proposition. Because as Texas goes, so goes the nation, and as the nation goes, so goes the world.
This guy is a firebrand. I did not expect it, that he was going to be this type of guy. And I saw this stuff in advance. I'm like, okay, I can't wait to talk to him. There's one coming up that's going to make you just laugh.
Will the Save America Act ensure secure elections?
It's a great question, and this is the issue of the day. This is another issue that our citizens are very energized over, and that's election integrity. Look, the House passed the SAVE Act twice, 118th Congress, 119th Congress. This is the Save America Act, which is the improved SAVE Act. So it's not only U.S. citizenship, you must have U.S. citizenship in order to vote in a federal election. That was the SAVE Act. We've now added photo ID when you vote. So you have to prove that you're a citizen when you register for a federal election. And now, under the Save America Act, you must actually show a government-issued photo ID so that you can vote. So we've got two guardrails there to try to clean up our elections.
As the representative.
Okay, I need you to listen to this really, really good. Because I'm going to have to explain it to you because it goes by fast and you may not realize what's happening. Some of you are going to get it right off the bat. All right, let me just go back to the beginning of this because this is actually some good stuff right here.
Try to clean up our elections.
As the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Mr. McBride. Mr. McBride, he addressed McBride, I don't want these people to get pissed off at me, accurately. This is the transformer from Delaware, and he called it Mr. McBride, who then responded, Madam Chairman. So they had a little bit of a jug. But what's interesting, as you're going to see it play out now, is those two took a jab at each other, but watch what happens.
As the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply.
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman? Would you repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America? Please.
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Yeah, in case you heard, I wasn't stuttering. Did you not hear it? You're sitting right next to me. All right. So I just did. Mr. McBride, what you got? We are not going to play your annual Halloween thing with you. We're not going to, partake in your cosplay. That's how we need to answer these people. Oh my God, did you really say that? You dead name me. I don't care. That's your name. That's who you are. We are no longer, this is the Freedom Caucus guy, Keith Self, and that's how every single Republican should be. Every single Republican should be letting these people know we're not playing with your insanity. You're not going to get me to acquiesce, and that's exactly what happened. They ain't playing it.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this.
You will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
Oh my God, I'm not playing your games. I'm done. If you don't call it by it, we're not going to play ball anymore. All right, done. Bye. We need to see more of that. We need to see that on television. People need to see that and understand it is up to us to stop playing these games. Call this, what? They have been allowed to completely morph how we speak, what we're allowed to say. At some point, we need much more of that. And I found that clip and I was like, oh, I got to talk to this guy. So here's the interview.
Hello, my name is Keith Self. I represent the 3rd District in Texas. It's kind of northeast of Dallas. I don't touch Dallas. I don't touch Oklahoma.
So, from Texas, want to find out, everyone's talking about the big Senate race. Do you foresee Ken Paxton winning that?
I think there will be a runoff. I think that Ken Paxton will certainly be in first place. And you have to believe that a 20-year incumbent will be in second place. So I think there will be a runoff, and we'll see what happens then.
All right, great. What about the entire state turning blue? That's not going to happen. You see all this
Texas
stuff
is not going to turn blue.
Texas is not turning blue.
Texas is not turning blue.
Please reassure us.
There is an increase in the Democrat vote, but I think it's probably because of their own Senate primary. They've got a race that they want to turn out for, and that helps Republicans because they're not crossing over.
Right.
We want the Democrats to stay on the Democrat side, and I think they're going to because of their own Senate primary.
What about people escaping California and infiltrating Texas?
Well, I always ask people that come from California, are you a refugee or are you a missionary?
Right.
And we want the refugees.
Right.
We want the missionaries to stay home in California.
Absolutely. So everyone's been talking about the standing filibuster versus the regular filibuster. Are you guys going to be able to get the Save America Act passed?
I think the Save America Act is absolutely vital to securing our elections. And I think it's really, President Trump is going to have to weigh in heavily. I expect to hear it tonight in the State of the Union because John Thune's going to be sitting right there in front of him. And I think that, yes, they can go to the talking filibuster, which is always available. That's not a change in the rules. And if the Democrats want to tell the American people why they want illegals voting in U.S. elections, then they ought to stand up on the floor of the Senate and tell people for as long as they can talk. Tell us why you think illegals ought to vote in our elections.
It should. Now, I know you got to go quickly, so this might take a little bit long. Can you explain the process of what the standing talking filibuster is going to do, and then is it necessarily mean that it does go to 51 votes just by having that, and how long is it going to take?
Okay, so this is not nuking the filibuster.
Right.
This is the traditional, historic talking filibuster that's always available. If you get at least 50 Republicans plus the vice president, are 51 senators that are willing to do this, that are willing to be available for a quorum call at 2 a.m. in the morning, whenever the Democrats call for a quorum call, then you can put this into effect. And the Democrats are the ones that have to talk. They have to stand up there. They can talk as long as they want to. And this would probably take a couple of weeks.
Really?
Yes, in the Senate, up to a couple of weeks.
24/7?
24/7, you got it. Unless there's some sort of an agreement that they would make. But this is what it is meant to be, 24/7. And so the Democrats will do the talking. The Republicans have to be available for a quorum call, which means they can't go too far unless they hold the vote open until they get there in the morning or whatever. But yeah, that is the talking filibuster.
So they each, all 50 of them, or whatever, 47 of them get a chance to talk, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And they get one shot.
It depends on how they design it. It's up to 2 times, but there is a way to do it where they only get 1.
And then once they're done, then it goes directly to the vote.
Exactly. Once you're done with your filibuster, if you go all the way. But I will tell you, it probably won't go all the way through. People get tired. This is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. So they're going to start wanting to make an agreement. What can we get in exchange for the vote? I have no idea how that would go, but I doubt they would go all the way through 47.
Wow. Well, I know you got to run. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And see you tonight.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Those were two short ones. I just wanted to include those today, especially Keith Self, how he explained how the talking filibuster works. And there's so much misinformation on X, and I just wanted you guys to hear it. So just to recap what he said, they all get to talk. Some of them may get to talk twice, but they actually, no matter how old you are, you keep going till you can't stand anymore. And as Eric Burleson said, there's a lot of octogenarians, a lot of old people. It ain't going to go well for them. They can't do it. A lot of older women, they can't do it. They have to stand the whole time. You don't get to sit in a chair. You got to stand and do whatever you're supposed to do, and you got to keep talking. And it goes 24/7. So it may take a couple weeks, but if they do the standing filibuster, if John Thune makes them do it, then it automatically triggers just a 51 vote confirmation. If they don't do it, if he lets them stay with their completely phone it in filibuster, then it's never going to happen. It's not going to pass. Unless President Trump, as he has said, he's going to do it anyway, which we'll see how that works out. But that is the filibuster. That's where things are right now. They just need John Thune to say, we are going to make it mandatory that you do the standing filibuster. That would be some must-see TV. I would love to see some of these people poop themselves, having to stand there for 24/7. And they haven't decided, as you heard, whether you get one bite at the apple or 2 bites at the apple. But whatever it is, you got to stand there. If there's nobody in the hall but you got to stand there. So I don't see why there's any reason why we wouldn't do that. Just go through the roll of all the different senators on the Democrat side and just go one by one and go, they're all going to have to stand if that's what they truly want. I don't understand why we're not trying to beat these people over the head like cavemen and just club them to death, metaphorically speaking. Stop playing games. And I don't know how President Trump feels about it. He keeps saying that, John Thune's a good guy, but something has to happen. In any event, it would still take a couple of weeks. And you know what the Democrats are doing? They're trying to run out the clock. So right now, you've just heard, you can rewind it. That is the process. Don't think people are telling you, oh, you got to do this. Nope, that's it. You can stand, you get 1 or 2 shots to talk. It goes 24/7. And whatever time in the morning, they're done. The Republicans have to come in and vote. If it's 2:30 in the morning, get your asses in here and vote. And then it's done. It can't go the way that John Thune is doing. We're going to have to find a way I don't know, to convince him otherwise. So I thank Mr. Burleson and Mr. Self for taking a little bit of time to talk to me, because we need that to happen. Hey, listen, Medicare is confusing. As someone who recently turned 65 myself, I can confirm this. Keeping track of enrollment periods, understanding all your options, and making sure you're on the right plan takes too much time and energy. And between Medicare scams, corrupt insurance agents, and bloated insurance companies, it is very easy to make mistakes that can cost you thousands. That's why I'm happy I called the people at Chapter. They're actually honest and the only Medicare advisor that looks at every plan nationwide, helping people save an average of $1,100 a year, basically $100 a month. Most people are just relieved that, or think to themselves, why didn't I call these guys sooner? They can help you switch insurance companies. And if you're already on the best plan, they won't push you to buy something else. Just stay on it. Their customer support is completely free. All you need is one 20-minute phone call, and they'll review everything for you. Many people here in the Fanfare family, maybe some people here in the chat right now, have already done it. So if you're turning 65 soon or have questions about your current Medicare coverage, call them at 475-328-3545 to get the most out of Medicare. And like I said, most people simply wish they had called them sooner. All right, let me wrap up. I've got a short segment here for you. Well, you know what? Maybe I can hold this till tomorrow, because I want to go a little bit longer. So, let me do super chats, because the next segment I was going to talk about was Paramount's buying CNN, which will probably take me 20 minutes to go through, which then would kick us over till too much later. All right. Let me do super chats, and then once we do that in the after party, we should probably close it down at that point. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed the talk with President Trump's speech, and I also hope you enjoyed those two quick interviews. I wanted to get those over to you. It was so amazing, being in Washington and getting a chance to talk to these people and being face to face. And even though some of them had limited amount of time, it was still great. All right, so let me do these super chats here, make sure the window is correct, move it over, and let's do this. And then I'm going to go down and play poker with SB and Robin. Fine. This guy, amazing. This one man can do so much, all of this while fighting all the evil in this world. Only wish I could do half of what he can do. Yeah, exactly. His energy is not matched. Burkham, hey Barry, what do you think of the Warner? Yes, okay. So this Warner Brother Paramount merger, I'm going to talk about tomorrow. It's because it's going to take a lot longer, and I don't want to keep you guys here till 9 o'clock at night. So we're going to remember that. Thank you very much. What I think about it, I think based upon who's freaking out and who isn't, it's good for us, but we shall see. Kelly, it's all bull with the Democrats. Indeed. The real KRO. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. I don't know if you're a brother, but either way, thank you very much. Drummer, make a country sue us to get a refund, then detail the unfair trade practice of the past as a defense and take it to the Supreme Court if needed. Rehearing and adjudication using a different set of facts. In addition, we're going to have to fight the domestic companies as well. I believe Federal Express filed a lawsuit for a refund. There'll be more. Jose Gonzalez, please call your senators. We need to pass this America Save Act. I did my part this morning. Yes, got to get on your senators. Lou, thank you, Lou. I haven't tipped in a while. Thought I should spread a little love. Love you all. Thank you very, very much. John, thank you. Chiosop, the difference between Kamala and AOC is Kamala sits at the bar. AOC works behind the bar. Other than that, they both make a mean word salad. Can you imagine if the two of them were, I can't, it's scary. Nicholas, Barry, Newsmax cut out, but OAN kept the feed like you did. Why are they cutting out? I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense. I understand the 5 is why they cut out, because the 5 is people love that show, so maybe that's why, but I don't know why Newsmax would have cut. Edward, Barry just received my box of kimchi one. Good. Make sure you ease into it and don't overdo it because it'll make you go poopy a lot. Kelly, thank you. Patty. Oh, wait 1 second. I've got to take this call. Hold on. I'll be right back. Sorry. Patty, Barry, the interview suits you well. We're excited to be a part of these big moments with you. Somebody said I look jittery. I wasn't jittery. I just, I knew what I wanted to ask, and I had to figure out if this person I was talking to, who doesn't know me, whether they are going to respond. When you're looking at somebody, you can tell what their body language is. If something, which I'm telling you, when you see the administration interviews, it's completely different. Let me just take a second and tell you. I've been telling you this last couple of days. The congressional people were one way. The cabinet, you're gonna see the difference. These people were on it. But whatever. That's who they were. Edward, Barry, love the rallies. Win more. By the way, I just purchased American Silver Eagle coins with 250th anniversary. Very good for you. Silver came back. I told you. Chiosop, Dune may not be able to win if we pass the SAVE Act. Dune may not be able to win. Interesting. And Edward Hartman, thank you very much. All right, everybody, I'm off to go meet SV again. Robin and I are going to meet him, and we're going to go have dinner. And then I'm going to play some poker, and Robin's going to play blackjack. We're going to have some fun. By the way, I talk a big game. We don't spend a whole lot of money. It's just fun. It's just fun sitting at the table, pretending you're like, big slick here doing something. Some of these old people that get in there, you might sit at a table and there's somebody 75, 80 years old, and they just kick your butt. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I'll see you guys tomorrow.